Hello, good evening, guys. Welcome to another squad line battle. It's me, Garthnix, back again. Server 2, Utah Beach this week. Should be a good one. Last minute commanders this week with MPITT and BULLSEYE, but both played the game for a long time, I believe, so it should be a good one. Obviously, I'm by myself this week, so shout out to No Connection. Not streaming this week, so you've only got the Axis perspective because I wasn't able to set up the allies in time, but you know, shout out to him and good luck to him as well because he's off viewing a house today, which is kind of cool. He's looking to move very soon, and I think he's off viewing the house, which is really nice for him and his partner, so good for them. Welcome back to everybody who joins us usually, and welcome to new people as well. Sorry about that. Thanks to the people who followed last week. Obviously the stream is 15 minutes delayed, so I don't really get to say thank you at the time, but thanks as always for those who followed, and also the people who followed on the YouTube as well. All the videos go up on the YouTube too. From me, just waiting for the server to start. We'll have a quick talk about the map here at Utah Beach, but just from me as well, thanks again as always to Werner Voss Dragster for arranging squad line battle. Thanks to all the players, thanks for everyone stepping up to be commanders, etc. Thanks for the opportunity to cast for you again. So I'll have a little look at the map now. Obviously, like I say, at Utah Beach today, we're on the Axis team, so they'll be in blue today. I will double check when we get going that we've got the color coding right. I think it might be off from last time, but we'll see. But you'll see all the Axis in blue and the allies in kind of red or orange. And as you can see here, the allies, I'm sure most of you know this already, but the allies are on the right side of the map there, and the Axis are on the left. The allies, of course, landing at Utah Beach. In that iconic kind of Save It Private Ryan, the landing craft, really cool. So in terms of the game today, it's warfare as always on squad line battle, so we're not talking about exactly Saving Private Ryan. We're not going to see this like struggle for the beach, but what we will see probably is a struggle for the center points. We've got likely center point is possibly Chapel. I think that's probably preferred for the allies, although if the Axis approach it correctly, then it can be a good thing for them too. But they're probably, both teams I think are unlikely to want WN4. WN7 can be a really good one. There's a sort of approaches on both sides across the open field, and there's certainly some strong locations around that one that if you kind of control those areas, then you control the map, or control the point, sorry. Of course, a lot of the time with these games that we see, it comes down to like the secondary points as well and how they're configured. You know, maybe you've got Sunken Bridge right up in the north, and then maybe WN7 in the middle sector, like right down at the bottom, and then Hill 15 or something in the middle. And you know, that's going to mean lots of running to and fro, lots of redeploying, and teams needing to be like really hot on their redeploys and stuff. So that could all come into it, obviously, but initially it's just going to be a fight for the center point, and probably trying to hold the center point for both these teams throughout, because I don't know, like some of the other maps, they are maybe more conducive to kind of like winning and losing the point, but this one, in my experience anyway, it's very important to kind of keep hold of that center point. And if you do that well, especially in Chapel, whichever team you're playing as, it's definitely possible to get a kind of a good domino effect on the other hard points. We can see kind of looking at the secondary points for both teams, but in particular the German side, Sunken Bridge in the north and Le Grand Creek in the middle there. Well, sort of north. If you look in the A1 square on the map there, you can see that the compass is a little bit off. So it's kind of the north west up there for Sunken Bridge and Le Grand Creek. Both of those though in D column, which is obviously slightly closer to the Allies than the Germans might like. Obviously, you know, they've got further to run if they're kind of spawning in at a back garrison in Flooded House or at Mammoth Radar. They've got further to run than the allies who might be at Chapel or WN4. The thing also to say there is that Chapel, as you can see, and WN4 to an extent, but especially Chapel, is closer to the allies. The allies also have a good approach through the ditch that you can see running from Hill 15. That's the blue line running from Hill... is it Hill 15? Or Hill 5, I forget, Hill 15, running like between Chapel and the hill. There's that ditch, and then there's kind of these other ditches in blue, and some of the paths there sort of in red that allow an approach up to the rear of Chapel, making it probably easier for the allies to get in there. But the Germans, if they do approach it correctly, as I said before, they do stand a chance, but that's really contingent on them holding the buildings that we can see to the northwest of Chapel. There's kind of some farmhouses there, and the Germans really need to get there quickly, establish themselves, and hold that, dedicate somebody probably to holding that the whole time. I've not seen either of these commanders in squad line battle before, so I'll be interested to see what their respective strategies are. You know, we'll try and listen into the command chat, at least of the Germans, because that's the only side we have access to today, but we'll try and listen into the command chat at points and see kind of a bit of the style that we're looking at in terms of command. We'll also try and get both commanders on after the game as well to talk about how it's gone in the stream. Obviously, like with any of the maps in the game at the moment, tanks are ever so important, as is artillery, as we've seen in the last two games actually that we've covered here on Server 2, last week and the week before. Fuxeg commanding both times and using the artillery very, very effectively, somewhat by accident in the first game, but definitely intentionally in the second one, to great effect. Using the smokes, ever so powerful, and smokes are very, very powerful on this map as well. I mean, they're powerful on any map, but on this map, because you've got, for example, around WN7, you can see the barbed wire all around it on the map there. If you use the smokes effectively, then that allows your team some opportunity to get through the barbed wire, especially if you're the Germans pushing down that kind of road that leads into WN7 or down the road on the other side. You've got a lot of barbed wire to contend with. And that's really going to be helpful to use the smokes. But tanks, like I say, very, very important on this map. The allies probably have initially a bit of a height advantage, depending on which center point it is. If it's WN7, they certainly have a height advantage. If it's the Chapel, they might do if they come in kind of from the northern angle. They might have some good spots as well off of the hill. But the Tiger... obviously very powerful early game before the 76 gets a chance to spawn. If the Germans can get Tigers into effective locations and even kind of fortify them a little bit, get them a little bit camped out with some good angles, then they can be very effective at holding certain sectors around, especially WN4. Kind of if you imagine they're in like D column, E column, the tanks there in those fields, they can be effective at kind of stopping a lot of the infantry moving from the farmhouses from the southeast of WN4, the ones I was saying are vital to take. And actually those farmhouses are very important for WN4 as well, more so for the Chapel, especially for the Germans, but the Allies are going to want to push through and take those buildings to the northwest, take the farm, if only to stop the Allies, the Axis, excuse me, from setting up there, because it's very, very powerful for them. What's less successful often I see for the Axis is if they come into the southeast of the Chapel, especially if they kind of drive the transport truck right up on the what we're looking at, like the south side of the river that goes through Chapel, or the creek. If they pull up there, they can often be in big trouble because they don't have a good angle of approach from there. All you can do is basically either run through the open field, which is almost certain death, because as I mentioned before, the Allies will already be in the church because it's closer for them and they have a very good approach to it. Or you can push down the sort of ditch, the creek itself, but that as well is obviously pretty campable because it's only about 6 foot wide. So you know, effective machine gunning cover of that is very, very easy, and also you can get shot from out of the tower quite easily. What they need to be doing is, like I say, getting up to the northeast and getting around Chapel, and kind of pushing it from the north and taking out the any garrisons, any OPs, using their grenades, using smokes to push into the chapel area and clear the allies out that way, taking control of that ditch that runs to hill 15, and then pushing. Is it 15 or 5? It's 5, isn't it? Excuse. I have played thousands of hours of this game, I promise you. But yeah, so that's probably what they're likely going to do. Let's have a little look. Have we got into the game yet? Not quite. Okay, so like I say, tanks, when the 76 comes in, going to be really important. I'm looking forward to seeing what the supply strategy is as well, whether we're going to see, like we did last week, Buxek used the supplies throughout the game, especially very early on, to place kind of speculative supply drops deep into enemy territory where they're not necessarily either expecting them to be yet, or where they can't afford to send players back to at the start of the game. Everybody's rushing the center point. It's all about the cap at the beginning. And so if there's kind of supplies dropping behind you, you think, well, maybe we'll leave that for later. Perhaps it gets marked, perhaps it doesn't. But you can see, for example, in C4, there's kind of a little rectangle there with a couple of trees in it. If, for an example, some supplies were dropped there early by the Allies, that would be a very powerful position, because it's a very good location for a garrison to attack either Mammoth Radar or Flooded House. And if they go down early, like I say, they might not be spotted. They might just be left, even if they are spotted. And so seeing those kind of speculative placements. The same in G8, right down on the edge of the map there, kind of vice versa for the Axis. If they drop in kind of G8 keypad or numpad 3, depending on how you talk about it, keypad 3, they can, if and when the time comes, if they capture Chapel, they can build a garrison really close to WM5. It can be very important to drop those the deep supplies, as it were. They can even go deeper than that, of course. They could go to H8, right in the corner, right by the road, although you're starting to get up onto the sand dunes there, and the best approach is really kind of through the you can't quite see it, but like through the barbed wire there to the sort of southeast of WN5. The same thing, AA battery, if you're able to place supplies really deep, as soon as you kind of take one of those middle points, you can get round behind it, especially the last points as well. For the Allies, they need to be really careful of those kind of advanced garrisons and stuff. Tar Green, Red Roof House, they're very, very vulnerable for the kind of domino steamroll effect. But equally, I think on the the opposite thing is also true. Like Samari approach is very, very vulnerable if Drownfields gets taken. Drownfields is quite a strong point for the Germans to have, but if that gets taken, Samari approach is very, very attackable. Flooded House is quite attackable as well from the Allies. They've got good approaches, good places to set up tanks. It's hard for the Axis to kind of get out from there because they're having to go through a lot of open fields, etc. So hopefully the stream's working. I'm just going to have a quick double check, then we'll get into the game. Hopefully the game is also working. Okay, we're not quite ready yet. Let me just test the sound on the stream for you guys to make sure it's all okay. Not looking good at the moment. That's maybe why. Okay, it is fine, that's good. Okay, so yes, Utah Beach. Looking forward to this one. As I say, kind of untested commanders as far as I'm aware on Squad Line Battle. Certainly it's my first time seeing MPITT or Bullseye as commander, so definitely looking forward to it. Hopefully we'll be able to get going in a second. Looks like most people are in the server. It's about to restart. But before it does, obviously just to mention, of course, that myself, Known Connection, and lots of other of the casters that you're familiar with are going to be covering games from the spring seasonal, that's coming up in the next month or couple of months. It's very exciting. Got 24 teams, so that's double the teams from the winter seasonal. There's all the teams from the winter seasonal almost still competing, and then lots of new ones, so very exciting to see them. Don D, I believe, are competing. How Let Loose Italia may also be competing. Let me double check for you. But it should be a good one. Obviously, we're really excited to be picked as casters for that, and hopefully you guys will drop us a follow so you can kind of keep up to date with that. Hopefully we're doing some updates and stuff on it as well as we go along. Let me just check for you. Yeah, so we've got Hell Let Loose Italia they are not in it, but is Dondi? No, they're not in it either. So never mind. I'm just talking rubbish. Just talking rubbish. But a bunch of clans are clans that we're going to see players from tonight. I know there's war players in the server. There's obviously like core players, but there's and other what the hell. But we're going to see STDB, who we've seen kind of recently on the stream, play really well. CSP, I look forward to seeing from them. PHX, kind of interesting team there. There's going to be, like I say, war players that we've seen play a lot on the server here on Squadline Battle. So it should be a really good one, and looking forward to casting some of those games. So do check that out, and also check out the VODs. They're on here on Twitch for 2 weeks, and then on the YouTube after that. So the server has restarted now, and I can reveal we have WN7 as the center point, then Drowned Fields and Saint-Marie Approach on the German side, WN5 and Red Roof House the other way. So we've got WN7, Saint-Marie Approach, Drowned Fields at the bottom on the left there, and then Hill 5 and Red Roof House kind of in the middle for the allies. I'm going to get in game, start myself a squad, and get us up in the sky so we can have a look at everything that's going on. Just deploy to the game. Hopefully we're not bugged today. There's been a few technical issues recently or in the past with the mouse, like haven't been able to actually control the players, but it's working today. So let me get the overlay off for you here, and we can see then the points there, and markers going down already. So they are commander markers, the observe in F8 and the attack also in F8. A move marker from, I think that's Charlie squad there, that's 2FJG Vadi, placing that marker there. It looks like Midion over here is probably going to be placing a Bat Gary behind Drowned Fields. As I mentioned, Drowned Fields quite a strong point for the Axis. Supply truck with squad leader in it is moving up, maybe going to try and get over here. Let's have a little look. It's Volcano. What squad is Volcano? Probably just scrolled right past it. Can't see now. I'll let loose Italia. Oh, here we go. Volcano. So that's Fox squad. So looking out for Fox marker. Right. So they're going to be moving up to this point here. We can see we've got a light tank over at the kind of top of the map here. That's going to be somewhere underneath us. There they are there, look. And they're going to be moving in probably around here to try and take out some of the infantry who are going to be rushing this area. On the other team, let's go and have a little look over the other side. Obviously, we can't see their map this week. It's a bit last minute, and I wasn't able to set up like the kind of dual caster thing for us today. But it looks like they've been a little bit slow out of the spawn here, maybe. Let's get some people highlighted. I think that should be everyone, but underneath us now we can see the troop transport truck here for the allies is going to be moving straight into the back of WN7, sorry, and we can kind of see literally making a beeline. So this house here is going to be vitally important for the allies. As anyone who's kind of played this map before knows, we're now above the house, which is like here, and the allies, and in fact the Axis too, but especially allies, are going to want to take control of this kind of T area, this like cross, which is here, as you can see, this kind of trench. take control of these buildings here, and you see Golf's move marker there, but exactly where the transport truck's coming over here. Good artillery, almost taking out the transport truck. That could have been very big for the Germans. As I mentioned, it's probably easier for the Allies to get here quicker, but as we can see, barbed wire is no problem for trucks, so that barbed wire that I mentioned before being a problem for the Axis, not a problem for the truck. Cheeseburger goes down though and the truck's destroyed immediately, but they have managed to almost get people to the house. That's a good rocket there as well. Doesn't take out the truck, but it is taking out some infantry. Make, who we've seen a lot before here, gets into the house first with FSG. Biggles and Liesel are out here for the Axis. As I mentioned before, they've put their smokes out, using those to good effect. We probably won't catch the action inside the building because I want to stay fairly zoomed out so we can kind of see more on a wider scale what's actually occurring here. See the Don D squad moving up to that powerful location of the house here. Let's make sure we've got everybody highlighted, because that way we can see the tanks as well. I know it kind of breaks the immersion a little bit, but they already have giant signs over their head, so I feel like that's probably already fairly the immersion's fairly broken as it is. Okay, so the Axis slightly have the advantage here at the point, but it's kind of touch and go. Make's still alive in the house. Oh, curse of the commentator, he goes down, and Václav Khan, an excellent player, moving in, but very much outnumbered here by the PBS and 82 AD squad. PHX Nispel there as well inside the point. Václav doing a valiant job trying to get the kind of peak here on maybe bigger stickers there. Great name, shout out to the Monty Python fan club. Good spot over here, it looks like, for an OP to keep the pressure up from the Allies, but the Axis taking control of the house and negating obviously any kind of advantage that might be gained either from a tank or artillery. It does, however, make them very vulnerable to a satchel if the Axis can, or if the Allies, my bad, can get a satchel up on the house. That could be pretty devastating, but at the moment it looks like Jesus Christ, although he goes down, is kind of you know, leading the charge here. There is this tank here supporting the OP, which is a very good play. Make and Pixel Smasher, Václav spawning in here. That's a powerful squad for the Allies. All good players who we've seen play well before here on Squad Line Battle, but the Axis still taking it with 123 remaining. This light tank is now moved in to the garden area here. We've got German supplies dropping here with the red parachute below us. So no advanced supplies that I've seen yet, certainly not from the Germans, but they are using these supplies to try and get a garrison up here. Slightly risky spot to have the garrison out here, of course, because of the artillery and this kind of bombardment, but Ryan out there, who I guess was probably trying to go and secure that for them, goes down, and now it's down to Jesus Christ, who's actually being flanked here by Zark and Basti. Let's see if we can catch some of this action. Jesus, injured, isn't managing to get the garrison down, but the OP in the trench there is getting spawned in. Oh my gosh. How do we always catch these disgusting artillery kills? I guess that's the aerial view for you. The eagle's eye. Okay, so the Allies doing a good job of taking this building over here with the War Squad and Phalanx over here in the house. They're also pushing wide, even though they actually don't control this sector now. So these players out here, the PBS squad, they're not really in contention. So we're kind of looking at them over here. It looks like they're just beyond Gulf squad for that Axis. They're kind of in this area here in E6, meaning they're outside of the effective kind of capping zone. I guess they're trying to get around, but they could easily get bogged down in those buildings and kind of take themselves out of the fight a little bit here. So only Axis players at the moment inside the sector, really, apart from the few in this house over here. But definitely an overwhelming Axis presence in the sector. Okay, so we've got a Panther 4 rolling up. They've already got this light tank kind of pushed in. I'm not sure, I think this one got taken out down here for the Allies. little bit hard to see. I guess this is Kellerkind, who's warming up MPITT and the garrison there. Good spot for an AT gun, so that may well be what's taking care of that other tank. I'm not sure, I've missed it. If it's on the stream, make sure you clip it so we can kind of catch that later, anyone who missed it. Not the best place for them all to be kind of spawning in. They're quite a long way back, obviously, but if they can get their OPs moved up to the building, then that is really their best chance. If they kind of go wide, the allies here, and go through the field, I mean, A, they're going to get hit by artillery, but B, they're very, very susceptible to getting just regular shot. Just because they can't get through this barbed wire, of course. They have to go through these kind of areas, make them very, very obvious. Then they need to kind of push up to the fence, still very obvious. They can kind of get into this hedge area, but really, it'd be much easier for them to get down this side of the road, or over here, push up to the house, and then enter through these trenches where they have cover. That makes it really, really hard for the Axis to kind of kill them until they're right up close, as we saw before. That's their kind of best spot for an OP, really. So more supplies going down here, so Commander kind of not hesitating to get supplies dropped in the area. Don't see any support players actually over here except Haken or Haken from PHX. Not sure they've put their supplies down, but supplies dropping anyway and the garrison going up. So 1 hour 19 remaining. The Axis still very much in control of the point here at WN7. And the Allies struggling a little bit, getting, like I say, bogged down on this kind of this long embankment, this wall here, and actually smoking the field here, which is probably not the tactic. They could easily get killed out here. Basti by himself on the push, not covered really by anything. Might get artilleried right now. I see more shots coming out from this this gun here. This looks like a really good... It's not letting me follow them here, but this looks like a really good placement for the gun. They're obviously taking out some of the infantry, excuse me, down the road. I'm not sure if they've taken a tank yet. Let's try and get beyond the muzzle smoke and have a little look. That looks like a bombing run over there, but I think it's just artillery, an absolute bombardment. Artillery over here, shout out to you. Hello, friend. And his squad from Phalanx trying to get across the road, but they're way back here. It looks like they did take out a tank here, which is great for them with that gun all the way down that long road. So really effective tactic there. Okay, here's the garrison below us for the Allies then. Okay, so getting back up here in the sky, we can see that this PBS squad is still a little bit bogged down. Right now we're kind of looking... I can't ping them that easily from the sky, but we're kind of looking in this area, if you can see my ping on the map in these buildings here. And they are inside the sector, just about, but they're not really anywhere near the hard point. As we discussed many times before here on the stream, the hard points are vitally important. You know, okay, you don't need your whole team in there if you're defending, but whether you're attacking or defending, if you can get a squad into the hard cap, then they're literally worth 3 squads. So it doesn't matter almost how many people are out here, because you can have 1 squad inside the hard cap and 1 outside just roaming around this sector, and you've effectively got 4 squads in this area. You know, that's a lot of players and capping power kind of thing, and it's going to take an awful lot of enemy squads, 5 squads just in the surrounding sector, in order to start capping, and that's something that's going to be really, really hard to do, as well as defend for your enemy. So just thinking about WM5 here, I'm not seeing a lot of you know, massively attacking plays. For some reason my markers, there you go, WM5, so I'm not seeing loads of attacking plays, obviously. Jesus Christ slowly moving up and actually looking to take out this garrison. Takes out the defender of the garrison. Shout out to Scars there, now Professor. Scars getting taken down by Jesus Christ. Oof. Several players getting taken down by Jesus Christ. He's really wrecked them there. And I think another player here maybe getting taken out by Sempu. Cyber Tim maybe next on his list. Looks like Voivos here, spawning in at the Phalanx OP. Going to get Jesus Christ on the side potentially. Yep, so that's big for him. Jesus Christ, very good player, and also obviously the most advanced of the Axis troops here, so giving them a little bit of breathing room. Although the garrison is down, the Phalanx OP is still there. Sempu Bohemian doing a sensible move out here round to the east, like they're pushing round on this area, and as I mentioned before, this is kind of a powerful approach here right down on the edge of the map. You can see there are some of these areas kind of behind fences, behind some cover here, into this kind of little trenched out area, behind the trees again. You've got this kind of building here, you've got good approaches up here, you've actually got this little hole in the barbed wire that leads right into the point, and again round this side. As I mentioned, you don't want to kind of get your guys necessarily into the dunes, but if you can get them like behind this bush in this kind of area here, get a garrison over here, that can be really, really powerful, because you can just smoke it out and just literally run into the point from the side, and that's a powerful approach into this point too, because it is quite hard to cover. This building not as powerful as it looks. This one over here kind of being the central power point, and you can see right where the garrison is actually as well, so maybe a little bit obvious on the garrison placement there, but it's not a problem at the moment for the Allies. So 114 remaining. These Allies slowly moving around. They've kind of managed to get to the road now. Perhaps they've taken out this gun, not quite yet. Crossbow goes down, but Volcano's still up. FSG moving down the road, hasn't taken out the gun. Pixel Smasher could with his rocket, but maybe hasn't necessarily seen it. This is an interesting position here for FSG. Don't know if they realise that they're coming right up against this tank here. The Tiger obviously could cause them a lot of problems down this road with the machine gun, and if they do try and kind of advance through this area, they're going to be a bit screwed from the main gun. The other thing to mention, of course, as well, is by taking or trying to approach through this trench, they don't have a very easy way to get in, because as you can see, the barbed wire literally goes all the way to the hedge on both sides, and it's kind of a bit of a red herring, this trench. It seems like, as you're down there on the ground, it seems like a good way in, but it doesn't always pan out like that when you're actually there. However, this trench, which is at the moment not being utilised, is very, very, very powerful indeed. If we kind of get down onto the ground level here, you can actually see, excuse me for the motion sickness, you can see this approach through here is actually very powerful. That's the back garden here, so if you can kind of get smokes out in this area, you know, you're on the right side of the barbed wire here, you can come up, start using these areas as cover and move actually into the strong point through here, move down to the end, move in through this area and actually start killing people all around the point. But not using it at the moment, the Allies, but they are kind of getting towards it. The Phalanx squad, who we saw their OP got saved up the road there, are kind of getting towards it. Satiri there goes down though to, I think, maybe Jubei up in the house. Shout out to Jubei, very, very good player and a regular here on squad line battle. But we are starting to see a bit more of an accumulation of allied power over here at the crossroads. We've got, of course, this garrison that's just actually gone down as I looked at it here in E7. So that's kind of big, because that is the back garrison. But you can see, as I mentioned before, with just one squad here and kind of another in the sector, the Axis still sort of contesting against all of these players in red that we can see. Definitely outnumbered in the sector, but because they've still got control of the hard point, they've still got people actually inside it, and we can see Commander MPITT inside it there. They are able to kind of keep holding it. I think this tank is dead, yes. Vistic out the back there, and who's the sniper? Predas. Okay, so saved it from the cap at the moment, but they haven't done anything, the Axis, to really clear out the Allies from this area. And even though they've kind of got this difficult trench to navigate, the Allies are doing a good job of pushing here and getting good kills on Volcano and his squad out here. Vaslav Khan, as I mentioned before, an excellent player, getting right round and flanking Julimaldi. Sorry, I pronounced your name wrong. You're not the first, and you certainly won't be the last. and now able to spawn like right up by these buildings. The OP goes down for this squad here. The Axis kind of cleared out of this area now, and this could actually be a problem for them at this point. So the Tiger is now moved into the strong point, it looks like. Can't quite see where they are. Over here. Okay, so they're just anticipating 76s. Kind of think they might be onto something. Let's see if we can see a 76 moving up. Not that easy to see. This is where we need no connection doing the other side, but as I mentioned, he's got a good excuse this week, everyone, so we'll let him off, eh? If it becomes a regular thing that it's just me again, then of course I will set it up so that you guys can see the map from the other stream. Just didn't have time tonight to sort all of that out. So Zark then moving into the back of WN7, and it's not looking great here for the Axis. They're probably going to want to get their reinforce up quite soon, but they're sort of probably committing on this attack quite strongly. Whether or not they kind of win a cap race out here is really going to be the question. This PBS squad, we've seen them get killed a few times, so them being like fully on the attack here, don't know if they're going to be the most effective squad out here. This is the Axis airhead coming down right inside the point. Whether the Allies realise the audacity of that airhead, I'm not sure. It looks like Soviet maybe has realised from war and is sprinting towards it. He's kind of twigged, might be the only person who's actually twigged here from the Allies. Was that a 76 went down there? I'm sorry, I didn't see who shot it. Possibly the Tiger all the way back there. I knew there'd be one up soon. Jesus Christ versus Soviet here. Probably a good fight. Or Soviet just gets killed by a lovely little piece of footwork by Jesus Christ up there outside of the trench. Sometimes trenches aren't as safe as they feel. But the airhead's still very much up and clear here. And the cap is on at WN5. So despite having a lot of players now moving into WN7, with, you know, Mate going to probably try and put the satchel on the building here, I should think. Although, unfortunate for him, he's just a bit out of the timing with the spawn wave there. Fluff probably going to get some shots on him. Yeah, gets a couple of kills, but isn't able to put the satchel down. So over here then, at WM5, could be a big problem for the Allies. I'm not sure why more people aren't spawning in at this airhead. I think they really could take advantage of this. They've got Mike squad out here. Don't know how effective they're being out on this flank. They might be better off redeploying, but as I mentioned before, a lot of this comes down to kind of discipline of redeploying. Obviously you can see out there War Soviet, War Snake, Tourist. They know, Cyber Tim there over at the back, they know that this airhead is here at this point. You know, they were the ones that spotted it and started running over before. They're going to be trying to take it out. I think, honestly, if the Axis managed to get more people spawning in on it, then they could be in for a bit of a cheeky win here. They have got a few people spawning in on it, not nearly enough in my opinion, but maybe just enough for now to do what it takes. They are still capping the sector because, as I mentioned before, the hard cap is so powerful and they do have a whole squad in there. But they could probably do with a few more people, just bodies, in the sector, because there you go, that's a few more. So some OPs down in the trenches, good positioning for the OPs there. And they are taking this point pretty decisively. It's 3-1 inside the actual hard point, or it might be all to none inside the hard point, to be honest with you. This is a bad spot here for this OP that's over here. You know, having to kind of contend with this barbed wire, etc. They haven't really got any hard cover. Going to get taken out. Is it an OP or a garrison? It's an OP and it's gone. Okay, that was probably the last real chance here for the Allies on this point. And now, once they get the cap here, the Axis, I mean, I'm kind of being a bit presumptuous, but I don't see why they wouldn't get the cap here. They really need to get all these people from WN7 quickly redeployed to this garrison in Red Roof House. And as I mentioned before, garrisons in this area, right by the Red Roof House, right by the last kind of level of spawn area. Oh, great nade. The last kind of the line here can be really, really powerful. At the moment, it's red, meaning it's spawn capped, spawn blocked, excuse me. But that's because it's in the red sector here, and that means only with it can be blocked by having an enemy just within 100 meters of it. So that's like this kind of area here. You know, we're looking basically by the Gary here, but now you can see it's all clear because it can only get spawn blocked if people within 10 meters. Ebler and Bubble Bear almost making a beeline for it. But whether they know it's there or not, Ebler must be able to hear it from here. Surely. Apparently not. It's literally concealed in this bush. He could have a whole bunch of axes spawn in behind him and not even realise. Perhaps a little fiddle with the sound settings there from Ebler. Clearing it off with the strafing run. Just in time for some people to spawn there. Jesus Christ, on the beach already. The allies spawning back at Red Roof House just in time to meet this spawn wave off the garrison, but I'm sure they don't realise that they're here just yet. A couple players going down in the gateway. Nice kills there from Cagnos, but goes down to Imox, which that was really great. I missed the bombing run here, I guess over WM5, so this is the allied bombing run right over the central house. The Tiger in a bit of trouble here. Looks like maybe a 76 further down the road. I can't quite see. Although it could be just a guy with a rocket launcher. Maybe it's in the smoke. Bit hard to tell, but doing the right thing and falling back. They're really making a push here to try and take it back, WN5. And if they are successful, I can see WN7 garrison is already kind of under attack here from Bistic and the recon squad. So they could be on for a bit of a steamroll. If they do take it back, but that is a big if. At the moment, as I mentioned before, this building over here not as powerful as it seems. Soviet in a really, really good position, but Nispel above him. They don't seem to be aware of each other at the moment. Surely one of them is going to hear the other moving around, you would have thought. Wow, I don't know what's going on with the half track there. But that garrison over there is down. Nispel's going to give away his position in a minute because he's going to see Bullseye running and take a shot. Soviet below him. Somebody took him out there. Not sure who that was actually. But he got absolutely destroyed up on the top of the building there. Turned into jam. Bullseye leading from the front. Really trying to get into the point here. And they are inside the hard cap at the moment. For some reason the WM5 symbol is not really like showing clearly on the map, but it's kind of below us. That building is just outside, so they do have to get into these trench areas, but there's no access in there at all. They've got this terrible position out here in the shell hole. I don't know what they're doing in the shell hole. They've literally got perfectly adequate trenches right here, but instead they're choosing to die in open ground. And Mork can't even make it to the trench there because he's getting gunned down by players in the house. Not a great job of defending here from the Axis. They've kind of committed everything to Red Roof House, and in a bit of a strange way, as you can see, you've got this Mike squad. They're kind of running over there. Not the best plan. They have got the garrison up now. House squad and Fox squad over there. King squad flanked like right around here, as you can see, right out. It's a good idea to try and take out the garrison here, so good play from him. Try and relieve some of that pressure, but unless they can take out the players in this house, which somehow they have managed to do, so perhaps that's Jubei, I mean, a fantastic player, so very possible that it was him taking out all the players in that house, doing a great job of defending. Okay, I hear a bombing run, so this is the Axis bombing run here. Doesn't seem to take out as many people as they might like. I'm guessing this garrison, no, the garrison's still up somewhere. Oh, still there underneath the bush, but Mode Warfare is on it. Vaslav Khan's on it. Blimey, satchel charge takes out one player there, placed on the wall. Probably looking to try and place it a bit closer to the house, I would think. but they are doing a job of defending here, the Allies. There's also a bit of a kind of contested situation going on over here at WM5. Lederlappen has pushed right through to this building, gets a kill out here on Biggles. Probably gets another kill in a second on Adam, and maybe then Lee Seal as well. He's got shots on him, gets the kill. The artillery does the rest. Krun is now the only Axis player in the hard cap, or even near it. They do have some garrisons, but no OPs there, and it is being capped now, WM5. So the Axis is going to need to do something here. Rhinout squad actually being left almost alone, but not inside the sector. If they can just get a couple of people back into the sector, leave their kind of attacking players to take out the garrison, which they might have managed to do now, I can't see. But they kind of want to get that cap back. It looks like the Allies in a bit of panic mode here, though, really trying to kind of take back Red Roof House, start from the back, you know, and push out again. Let's have a little quick listen over here to the command chat. So asking for the garrison south of King, so that's down here in H8, keypad 3. Seem pretty calm, don't they? Managed to kind of consolidate this defence a little bit better now. I mean, I think they were helped by a lot of the players, the Allies basically running back. But Rhinout squad here from PBS doing a good job actually of clearing out this kind of area and holding them off. I think they maybe got a garrison down here as well. But MPITT there staying on top of his resource game. That's important for any commander to keep an eye on that. Bullseye right back on the beach.
Thank you, George.
And they're getting kind of pinned down out here. PBS doing a good job spreading right out so they're not all kind of bunched up.
We have no garrison on WN7 if you are using WM4.
I'm going to do that.
Thank you.
MPITT back here in the supply truck on his way. Doing a good, better job though here. The Allies of holding on to Red Roof House. They kind of managed to clear out those enemies that were right in front of them, but still struggling a little bit. They're sort of pushing out into this area a little bit aimlessly. They really need to kind of get their attack back on the sort of back on the agenda at WM5. As we just heard from the command chat, they don't have anything back here at WN7. Vistic, Pridus managed to take out the garrison here. So if they can get on a bit of a roll, the Allies, then they could have a slightly easier time. But for now, they're being pinned on the beach by PBS, Rhinout and his squad over here. Jakob as well moving out here on the flank. I didn't hear which garrison marker that was, but is there actually a garrison here? Adamov going to check it out, I suppose. I don't see anything. Could have been this OP. So there's a lot of blue dots over here. Interesting. Probably not the best place for them to be. Getting a bit drawn out of position there. I think a few people have marked that garrison and seemingly a lot of players going back there. I don't think that that's ideal for them. They'd be better delegating just one squad to go back there rather than 2 or 3. Okay, so the PBS squad now whittled down a little bit, and actually Allies are moving up on them, but the spawn wave just in time. Bohemian manages to get up into the little what do you call it, bunker thing, and AMT kind of giving up on the push there a little bit. Maybe he saw Chips over here at the house and he's a bit nervous about actually pushing through into this area, but it's a good idea to let your team like not bunch up exactly, but catch up so that you can kind of all push at once and give yourself an advantage and not make it a 1-on-4 situation. But chips out on the wing here, kind of gets a nice kill, puts some more pressure on AMT and Des with Rhino and Sempu doing the rest to probably hold them off. We'll just go and quickly check on Red Roof House again.
Thank you.
So Red Roof pretty uncontested at the moment, but Ebler and this squad over here
What killed him?
from the Allies, they're not really in the right place, but they're probably looking for this half track. Proximo going down, shout out to you Proximo. So here's the half track getting destroyed any moment probably. Someone redeploying. Guess the idea is they're going to take it out, but they've kind of secured that area now. So that's good for them, but they have pushed out of this area, so not quite sure where the OP is or whatever that these guys have spawned at. Over here, this Baker OP, I guess we'll just give it a little ping, see where it is. Oh, okay, over here in these rocks. That's a good spot for them. Putting good pressure here on this couple of squads. Again, going to be drawing some of those players back into the hard cap there, so that's just fewer players who are available for the attack on WM5. The war squad out here for the Allies are kind of lined up down the trench. I can see why they're pushing there, but in a way they might struggle. If they can kind of get through into this area and down into this trench, that's going to be their best bet. Instead of kind of pushing along their own line, they want to get out and around. Here comes the Allied bombing run. Basically on nobody. I'm not quite sure what that was all about. The Axis have got a recon plane going over just now. Whether it'll pick this tank up or not. It's kind of damaged. I think Jakob got a shot on it, but they're going to... Where's Vaddy's marker?
Enemy tank in WM5.
Okay, so this tank marked now by 3 separate squads. Adamov going for the finishing blow probably. If he kind of waits where he is, this tank might actually just drive at him through the fence. He's realised now. If he gets a shot on the back of it, they could be in trouble here. Lucan. Good hit. They are hurt. It didn't do as much damage as Adamov would have liked. He's reloading. He's got one more shell. Swing and a miss. Hey, and the Tiger have been in a bit of trouble here. It's a shame Adamov couldn't have got the last hit there, because they've lost a Tiger now, which is unfortunate for the Axis here. This tank is well out of position though, and it probably won't last long. I think Adamov did fire his second shot, so he's not got anything left. But they really should be getting smoked out here, the defenders. They did manage to smoke their own tank, and now they're kind of getting pinned down themselves in this bush. Adam just needs to redeploy or get killed or something, because right now he's being pretty ineffective. He gets himself killed, so he doesn't have to pay the penalty timer. Lucan gets out, does the sick pistol kill. Trying to get the heals probably on the tank, but he's going to run the risk of getting run over here. Manages to get back inside before anything terrible happens, but Sker is approaching. He's also got rockets. Tank's well out of position, but Dez and his squad now moving into WM5 from the northwest. See this truck here. We kind of saw the soft cap going on Red Roof House, but it's not really amounting to very much at the moment. It's been definitely capped back here by the Allies. You can see there's fucking loads of them in there. And Hill 5 over here, kind of overrun as well by Allies, cutting off the approach that the Axis are trying to use round on this flank. Okay, so the Sherman's still up. Mork and Struz both trying to get to it to place the satchel, but it goes down. They need to now, all of these players out here, like how many players does it take to attack a tank? So 1, 2, 3 players, 4 players out here literally can't do anything about a tank, so they have no business even being near it. Should have been pushing into this area to help defend. If they're defenders, they should be defending. But maybe that's just my hot take. Have a go at me in the. Hey, thanks, Whisper. Maybe he's thrown me off now with his kind words. I know he's mocking me, but you know I'm going to take it as a compliment. Face cam reveal at 100,000 followers. Yeah. Still got a little way to go, so I don't have to have a shower anytime soon. Okay. Interesting little fight maybe here with the speed of the recon vehicle getting right round behind the 75. 75 kind of cucked itself by going around this wreck here. Nice little reload and another shot. I reckon they're going to get them here. Oh, turning the turret. Kato can't do anything. Just literally pointlessly shooting. I can't believe how hard they're getting hit here and not getting blown up. Oh my goodness. That's so unfortunate that just one rocket takes out that recon vehicle, because what an absolutely valiant effort there to try and take out that 75. That was extraordinary. Okay, WM5 well controlled here. Oh, don't know why I pressed that. Just trying to look at the resources, but press the wrong button. Only 20 or, well, only a few resources here for tanks. Nothing anywhere near a half track, which I believe is, what, 600 or something. But yeah, WM5 well under control here. 49 minutes remaining. This is a lot of allies who've pushed out to Hill 5 now. Interesting move. I mean, I can see why they're doing it. They want to clear out the dulcet tones of Electro there from Phalanx. They want to clear out the area in front of Red Roof House, push up to Hill 5, and then flank around. They have a long, long way to go, and right now they're out of the fight. It's always a risk getting this far out of position with this many players.
Yeah, we can try.
Yeah, so that's the risk. 75 healed up now from its ordeal just a moment ago. I can't believe they didn't get blown up, to be quite honest. Okay, but more effective smoke work here from the Allies than we've seen up to this point. But still getting kind of picked off in the trenches. PBS squad here defending, doing a really great job. I don't know if I was a bit rude about them earlier. I thought, you know, maybe they got killed quite a lot, but it looks like they're absolutely slapping out here. So I take it all back. Struts here with a kill on Scars, most likely. Ah, lightning reactions there from the Phalanx legend, but he does go down. Wow, I mean, this is one heck of a deep and wide flank, isn't it, from the Allies there, literally all the way over here on Might Marker and beyond, all the way to these buildings practically. Well, yeah, and even beyond that. So this garrison's going to start going hot in a minute, and I'm not quite sure what the strat is at the moment. They're so out of position here. Just a couple of squads landing in behind them. They've not got enough for an airhead, unfortunately, for the Axis, but if they can get some supplies down over here, and Electro can build a garrison out here, this could be very, very, very significant for the Axis. With this many allied players this far out of position, Proximo might push up, start trying to get sniper kills, might kill Soviet, might alert them that there's players here from the Axis, but what they really want to do is kind of stay stealth over here, get the garrison down, wait for a few people to spawn in, and then push all at once. You can see that the Phalanx squad here doing the right thing, coming back to Red Roof House, not getting too carried away with this sort of mental flank that they've got going on. I think even like this flank is going to be so slow to be effective, because you can see how dispersed the defenders here are from the Axis.
The able tank marker is the decorator.
Yeah, there's a enemy 76 coming south towards from Hill 5.
moving. I'll keep it smart.
Nice when the command chat does the commentary for you.
Yep.
Yes,
He's reversed towards red roof. He's burning 76 on alpha mark.
Stop saying what I'm going to say, guys. Okay, so they really need to get the supplies down over here. I can't believe that Electro and Proximo, two strategic masters over here, have not thought to get the supplies down and get a garrison bill over here. Troubling. Okay, the supplies are going down, so I guess next time when they spawn on the OP, they're going to... this is a very interesting fight here, isn't it? Sotiri versus Electro, Boybos and El Professor, Soviet versus Electro and Proximo, Phalanx on Phalanx, Recon Greek Crime. But look, they've kind of left it a bit too long. They've thought, well, we'll push up, get some kills. When we die, come back to the OP, then build on these supplies here. But this is I think a mistake, because these people here, Vistic has seen these supplies coming down. He's spawned in at the as you can see, like, it's perfectly obvious where they're coming down to them. They've spawned in here, and without Electro and Proximo being here to guard the supplies and fight off these guys, build the garrison quickly, they're going to waste this fantastic opportunity for this great flank. Whether they've realised yet or not, I mean, Electro, I'm not sure why he's hanging out in this bunker. He shouldn't really be there at all. There's supplies here he should be protecting, but perhaps the communication hasn't been there to kind of elaborate.
Pushing from behind. Just know about it.
Proximo down to Commander Bullseye.
Actually two now, G6 and G7.
G6, G7, so they've identified out here that the enemy have like really flanked right around. They have killed a lot of them. As I said, it's not an easy push there for the Allies through this area, because where they're so dispersed, the Axis, they can just wait for them. Tiger out here in big trouble from Make. Gonna probably get the kill on the infantry out here in the road, but probably been satcheled. Just trying to get away from the other tank maybe. I'm not sure what Lil Dank is doing. Maybe trying to take out Make, but that's probably a mistake, I would think. Stay in the tank, because he's going to get blown up by whatever satchel was just placed. And there it is. Almost takes out the Panzer IV as well. Slightly short-sighted play from the tank squad there. Should have probably realised that he put the satchel down. Get the other tank out of the way. Look how damaged it is just from the proximity to the satchel. He almost got 2 in 1. Great play from Make there. And now just harassing them. Probably going to try and get killed so he doesn't have to do the redeploy timer. But at the moment, just kind of harassing them. They don't know, of course, that, you know, he's not a different player with a different satchel, and, you know, they might be worried about it. But Mate does go down, I think, to Dorfhaus here on Harken. But they really do need to do something round on this flank right now if they're going to try and take Red Roof House. PBS again, like, doing such a good job over here of defending and holding off the players from pushing into WM5, but how long can they go for? They've still got 42 minutes left to defend if this is their strat.
Even I'm redeploying, so...
They're losing it, because look at all these red players behind. The garrison market on Baker that we've just heard discussed sound like they're going to be quite responsive here on the defence, but they've got this whole phalanx squad that's spread right out. I'm not sure it is under control, guys. I'll be honest with you. It's a very good placement of an airhead or garrison or whatever it was over here. It might just be, yeah, it's a garrison by the supply truck, look. Really good placement, allowing them to run basically straight into the back of WM5, catching them by surprise big time, the Allies here, and causing a lot of bother. MPITT has got a good eyes. Mike able to mark that supply truck and actually mark the garrison inadvertently as well. Baker marker not quite accurate, but they're basically right. But they are getting pinched from both sides here, and they don't have a lot of players inside the hard cap. It's going to be tricky for this sort of defensive group here to effectively push off from both sides. Of course, that is the most powerful strat in the game. Attack from one side and attack from the complete opposite side. It's so difficult to defend when you're having to turn 180 degrees to fight all the time. You can't watch every angle. You know, at some point,
There is enemy behind you, close to the garrison.
it's going to split your players. We've got a friendly Panzer IV coming in here for the Axis, which could be important for them if they're able to take out this garrison here. I'm not sure if they've got it. The garrison might actually be down here. Done quite a good job here. I don't know if it's Fluff or Greaves or who it is, who's managed to kind of take out a lot of these players back here, but they have done a good job. But again, they've got these lot coming in from the beach. What's going on? No connection, man. How was the house viewing? Well, hopefully good. Hopefully good. But yeah, so they've kind of managed to deal with some of this back here. Not quite as much as they want. The Panzer IV now in a bit of trouble. They've destroyed the supply truck and the supplies, and I'm guessing the garrison that's back here, so there might be a couple OPs. Still getting pushed pretty hard from the front. Volcano crossbow here holding it down in the house. They have got good spots here, and I hear machine gun fire from Least Seal. That's an effective position for the machine gun there, but still not managing to do much to the red roof house here. Okay, so looking at the garrison placement, they do have a couple good back garries. They've got a nice advanced one, although it's hot now. Might get destroyed by this bombing run, I'm not sure. That's the Allied bombing run. And the Axis recon plane goes over as well. The bombing run not taking the garrison out, but it is proximitied. I guess our professor is basically on it right now in the smoke here. Yeah, it goes down to a rocket. But they do still have at least one spawn point here, and they do have the wide garrisons. They could do with getting one slightly better one in. Where are these garrison markers? They are no longer accurate. Worst guitarist there on the spot where they're planning to build another garrison. Or something. Plays garrison. I mean, they've got a garrison right here. I'm not quite sure about the rationale. A few players getting taken out by the Axis bombing run here. Not a bad one, taking a bit of the pressure off, but it's probably not going to be enough. They really need to get these squads around Red Roof House into these trenches. They've managed to get the garrison up finally here in H3. It's a little bit far out. I'm not quite sure if they needed to build it quite as far away as that, but I understand the temptation. What with, you know, you don't want your supplies getting taken out. Electro making up for his previous sort of, I don't know, mistake, I suppose, not being able to build the garrison before. But does go down. Vistic and Predas, they know that there's still players here from the Axis. Whether they just think, oh, it's an OP, it's a recon squad, don't know. But they're still pushing it. They're still pushing up here. They still think there's somebody here. So there is a chance that they find this garrison now. It's just there in the bush. It's quite close to the road, which means anybody kind of running on the road might hear it. But equally it's hard, you can't build it really out in the field because it's so open, anybody will see it. So Electro compromising with the in the bush meta here. Vistic, he can hear it, I can already tell, and runs around, sees it straight away, and it's gone down. That's why, again, it's really, really important to have that support structure around. When you build a garrison, a flanking garrison like this, or really a garrison anywhere, but especially a garrison that's advanced on supplies, one that's in a red territory where it can be proximitied easily, You must have people there to defend it. Enough people there to defend it. Because otherwise this happens and it's just literally a waste of resources, a waste of supplies. Okay, it's drawn 3 players out of position for them, but that's their recon squad. At the end of the day, that's not really that out of position for them, because otherwise what they could be doing is attacking the artillery. The Axis don't have anybody on artillery because their artillery can't reach Red Roof. Okay, so the cap is now on here at Win 5. The house has been taken. They've got a tank inside the point. It's looking pretty dangerous for the Axis here. Kind of dilly-dallied and messed around taking Red Roof House, and it's going to cost them at this point because they've got a tank over here, 76, and a 75 here, right in the hard cap. Not a good place for them to be. Going to be very, very hard to deal with the 75 in the hard cap. Or not. I guess somebody placed the satchel, so that's very big there for the Axis. They need to get that redeploy down, reinforced, and it is up. Still not enough. Some artillery now on this house would be amazing, but as I mentioned before, nobody's actually on the artillery. These trenches here controlled now by the Allies, which is important for them. Scar's managing to get right the way round, going to hamper Sulaki and these other lot from pushing up. This is probably going to cost them the point, I would think, although they seemingly are defending. Not quite sure how. I think maybe they've just got slightly more players in the sector because of how, even though it's like closer to the Allies here, it does kind of mean that all of these bods over here and this tank and all the rest of it, they are still in actually the sector causing capping power, even though they're not in direct kind of line of sight of any Allies or in combat. But with this many Allies, if they manage to get into the hard cap, they'll easily be taking it. They just need to kind of get up, push through, and then get enough people inside the hard cap, which it looks like they might at this point, but it's hard to tell. Okay, yeah, they are capping again, so it's kind of in the balance here. 34 minutes remaining. Nothing good happening at Red Roof House for the Axis. Golf squad leader going down there. Still contested. It's very, 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 very contested here. Just having a quick look at some of the scores here. Let's get rid of the chat bar. Able squad had some good plays. Looks like Biggles might have taken out quite a few people. We've seen Fluff, I think, take out a tank. Canyos has done a great job as the recon there. Strazolo again with tank kills. Very important to get the tank kills on this map. Shout out to Pakov and Item Squad in the tank, doing a good job there. King, excellent. PBS squad. After what I said earlier, I feel terrible. They're like my squad of the game right now. Jesus Christ and his squad, obviously like the sort of attacking pros here. How on earth are they keeping control of the sector here, the Axis? Look how many red players are sort of in the hard cap. It's just exactly what I was saying before. This whole area, you see how many of the Axis are actually here. It's kind of a disadvantage of actually having it close to you. Is that the Allied front line, a lot of them are still here in the red. You know, if we put a ping over here, you can see that actually anyone past this point is not capping. So that sort of drastically reduces the number of bodies that, you know, you can see are actually in the point there. Looking at Red Roof House, there's still some squads here defending for the Allies. They've got 3 machine gunners up there in the windows, so they really don't want to give it up. And they're making it really, really hard out here for the Axis, who are kind of trickling in from the north, not really being very effective at attacking. And I guess in some ways the Axis are probably just trying to keep like a little bit of pressure on Red Roof House, but they know the main fight at the moment is here in Win 5. Until they clear out that building, until they clear out these trenches, they've got it all to do, WM5, and I think that's acknowledged by them, looking at how many players they've got in the area. They've got tanks supporting with a Tiger and a Panzer IV here. It looks like they managed to take out this 76. I'm guessing that's where the Tiger's just fallen back from. Sorry for missing that. but they are holding it, but it's not easy. You know, it's costing them a lot of players out here to be holding the point. They kind of missed a golden opportunity earlier, and now it's really a bit of a meat grinding for them. They've sort of been pushed back from those great positions. You know, where the PBS squad was up in this trench where they were shooting people on the beach. Absolutely amazing situation for the Axis to be in there. Like, you can literally defend a point with like 5 people. At this point, you can see how tricky it is. And largely because the attackers over here just not being able to get anything going on Red Roof House. And it's not that easy unless you're really quick. You know, they had that chance right at the start with that garrison which was in this bush. They had another sort of a bit of a chance over there to maybe get some people spawned in and into the trenches. But like, it's hard to approach. It is hard to approach. The trenches are probably the best route, but you know, when you're down there on the ground, it's not easy at all. They're so lumpy with these dunes. When you're kind of walking along, you know, if we look over here at Soviet, okay, he's sort of out a little bit exposed, but as soon as you get down into this trench area, it's very, very, very lumpy, and it can be really hard when you're kind of running along here to actually see players until you're right up on them. So it's not an easy approach for the Axis, and they really needed to capitalise on it when they could. But they sort of haven't managed to very well. I think it's not costing them the game so far, but it's making it a lot harder than it needed to be. They probably had an opportunity to win this already. Supplies just dropped now for the Axis over here in H8. Just saw them come down on the building here with PBS chips in it. So they're trying to establish that garrison again. They got taken out by the rocket earlier, and that's probably the right thing to do. It's like PBS v PBS out here. Mr. Bomber and Queso, though, not in the best position against Lee Seal, Julie Mouldy. Adamov with the absolute Chad plays there, just charges him down in the crater, absolutely wrecks him, gets killed himself, but that's enough to clear them out of that area. Pretty nice nade as well. So Andy and Chips in a powerful position in the building, Sempu as well with a little powerful spot off to the side. The 75 is marked by Fox Squad. It's not the most powerful tank for the Allies. They're probably also similar to the Axis here, a little bit short on supplies, I would think. Probably not got the fuel that they would want. But definitely still able to cause a lot of problems here if they manage to get that tank pushed up with some infantry support again. It's just going to cost the Axis so many defensive players, you know, and you can see that they are trying to move up in this area, but this probably isn't the right approach to the house. It can work if you manage to kind of get a good force of people into this area and use the smokes effectively. Free par or something over here is and Jesus Christ, they both have access to smokes. Wolf House as well probably has a lot of smokes as the medic. If they can smoke this approach through these kind of trench areas here, get up to the wall, it is possible to actually jump up onto this wall and get a bit of an angle and jump out over the hedge, like into the into the courtyard. But you know, 3 machine gunners in that building, or 2 machine gunners, doesn't make any of that easy. You know, I'm saying it like it's, oh yeah, just do this, just do that, but you know, at no point for any of these players is this easy. Score like battle, of course. The way that you play this, you join up as a squad. So whether you're people that just play together for fun normally, or you know, sort of looking to get into competitive, or whether you're people who play for a clan already or whatever, you know, you can join into squad line battle as a squad. You know what you're doing already. That's basically the idea. You operate together as a squad, and so none of this is easy. The players that you're playing against, they all know what they're doing. They're all trying to mash you up, basically. I don't know what this bombing run here is. Very curious. Sort of completely I don't know what the word is, like a very violent bombing run here. I mean, yeah, it's like here, bombing run, very strange, not necessary, a waste of munitions if you ask me. but the ally commander there just kind of getting a bit vindictive, I think, getting a bit annoyed with whoever was out there and just dropping everything he could on their heads. So we got supplies supposedly coming down just by our left here, by Pound Town and Crumb. Slightly south of Jubei, just down here somewhere in the ditch. Haven't been dropped yet. Here they come. Got the garrison up and pushed through now. Fox Squad again, so that's Volcano. Although he goes down, but able to kind of try and push the allies back to the beach, which is essential really. The allies are going to struggle all the time they're in the dunes. They have to get through the barbed wire, or they have to have these horrible cover situations where their head's sticking out. You know, they don't want to be there really, and it's better for the Axis that they keep them there, and just kind of go easy on the defense. Just let them push, because at the front here they've got a really hard approach. You saw that, you know, the only problem was when they came from behind. So as long as somebody's keeping an eye out back here, then it shouldn't be a problem for the Axis to keep holding this. It's only 25 minutes to go. They've already held it for over half an hour, so they should be fine to carry on as long as they don't get flanked again. Vistic probably trying to get another garrison up over here or somewhere around here. I didn't see the supplies going down, but there's every chance they did. So the Tiger moving up down the road. Not got anything to shoot at just yet in the way of tanks. I can see that there's a little recon vehicle out there in the water, but I don't think that's going to be in use just yet. You just want to move up too far here. Armidion, sorry, and the other Dundee guys in the tank. But if they could just kind of camp this area, get themselves set up, use the machine gun, use the high explosive shells, they can really just hold this area quite easily. You know, even if a 76 does spawn in and does push up, you know, they can get some pretty decent angles on it from here. So, and also, you know, with engineers and whatever around to place satchels, all they really need to do is take cover. Let the infantry take the tank out for them. So Red Roof House still really not even close to being contested by the Axis. They have consolidated some people around this garrison in G5, but at the moment they're just not being able to be effective at all. You've got another garrison placed up over here. I see this is again going for the flank. We're looking at this road up here in H and G3. Just seeing, who is this in here? The commander. Bullseye. Basti. So Basti in the truck there, going for the really wide flank. So he's got the right idea. He needs to get some garrison like over here behind WM5 in this kind of general area, similar to what there was before. You recall it was like right here by this building last time. It didn't quite work out in that location, but somewhere similar in that area. So there's a lot of these Axis players over here kind of not really contesting anything in this area, pushing to Red Roof House, but sort of a little bit sporadic across the open field. They've not got a height advantage, they don't have the best cover out here, so it doesn't take an awful lot of allied players to hold them back or cause them some serious problems, but there are good players up with them. Mork, Jubei, Pound Town, we've seen them play really well in the past, and yeah, you know, if they can get pushed up, if they can get down this trench, they might be able to get inside Red Roof House at last, hopefully for them, finally. They need to use their smokes here. I see one going out in the middle of the field, but they really need to be quite constructive with them and kind of coordinated and really smoke out that ditch so they can actually run up to the buildings, because at the moment, as you can see, they're sort of lined out across this edge line, but they're not capping anything. They're not in any kind of sector that's really doing any damage. And they've got all of these allies to their right hand side as well. Okay, these lot are running in towards Wem 5, but this Demos squad and the rest, Dorfhaus, Pitch, Andy, like they want to be ideally push it up as quickly as possible, clearing out enemies from in front there before these lot turn around and come back. And you can see Vaslav Khan and NCE, or since they are turned around, they are coming back. Cybertin was turned around, Panos is now turned around, they know they're there. They've probably got markers on the Axis squads here. Yeah, because his Scourge just got shot. Pound Town doesn't even realise that Vaslav's there. He's still shooting towards Red Roof, goes down to Vaslav Khan or Since, or one of them. And this garrison is now threatened because, again, not able to move in quick enough. Like I say, it's easy for me to sit here and say all that. I don't have to be in the meat grinder and sweating and getting killed over and over. But we saw last week, and we've seen before, that the more responsive a team can be, the more effective they are. When it comes especially to squad line battle, but in like proper competitive games as well, but in squad line battle where it's much more of a squaddy game, there isn't necessarily a big coordinated plan that's being kind of enacted the whole way through. People haven't been to practice and been yelled at, and they're not super disciplined, you know, with their redeploys or whatever. If you are super disciplined with your redeploys, that can be such a huge advantage. You can be very, very decisive with the moves that you make. That can be a very big advantage. If you can place those early supplies, if you can go those weird offensive garrisons up like as soon as possible, and we saw it literally last week. On Hurtgen Forest, the Axis were able to place down. Oh, look at that Pound Town squad going down to basically all of them going down to Vaslav Khan. Such a good player. But we saw last week that the game was literally won by the difference of about 10 seconds. The final point was taken. It was a 5-0 steamroll, and the final point got taken. Excuse me, I'm like choking. Got taken because Wolfie was able to literally set up a garrison the second, and I do mean the second, that the point was captured, like the previous point was captured, and that gave that team, they then immediately had 40 seconds of timer. So did the allies, but the allies had to go all the way back to their HQ spawn, and so they had slightly further to run, because on that 40 seconds a ton of the Axis spawned in. They all were coordinated, they all pushed at the same time, ran in together, used their smokes, took the point, and then it was all downhill for that allies, because they had to basically push from their HQ into their own into their own hard cap, you know, and that's not a good position for them to be in. Okay, so these trenches now have been acknowledged by the allies as a powerful approach, which is probably sensible. They did try earlier on to get in through this area, but we've kind of seen them get caught up in the dunes and the beach there quite a lot, just in the last 10-15 minutes, and sort of forget about these trenches. But now they've decided to use them, and Bubble Bear squad is moving right down them all the way basically up to the centre of WM5. Well, something got blown up there, but perhaps it was a trick of the light. Volcano and his squad, worst guitarist as well for PBS, might get some good kills out of the windows of the respective buildings, but they are still under artillery attack. There is an artillery player now from PHX actually on this artillery, or maybe it's not them that's under attack, because Electro looks like is pinning down anybody who's trying to artillery here for the allies. It could have been the last couple shells fired by Bullseye that we just saw. This 75 now spawning in. Doesn't seem they are having too much problem with fuel. Starting to get better fuel situation for the Axis as well, so we might see some more stuff get spawned in from them in a minute. But good job on having a lot of people still in Red Roof House, keeping them in the game here. Excuse me for the yawning. Busy day at work, you know how it is. But WM5 is actually now under a better attack from Bubble Bear. Whether they can get anything going on, play some supplies, get a Gary up, that's really the key thing. If they could get a Gary up like out here in this little area behind the the bunker here or something like that. That would be good. But Bubble Bear's pushing right up. I don't see any supplies down for them. It's pretty tricky from up here in the sky. It's pretty tricky down on the ground, to be honest, to see those little supply boxes. But I haven't seen anything drop from the sky. But WM5 is pretty unprotected, like right inside the cap here. You've got Greaves' squad out here for Don D. Rhino out on the west, but not really, or sort of like north over here anyway, but not really anywhere near to the actual hard cap. Some of these guys here are close to Volcano, but not as close as Bubble Bear. Garrison goes down then. Kato manages to take it out, I suppose, and this one has also been taken out at some point, so only the one back Garrison now for the Axis at Win 5, and this could be the sort of the slow demise of Win 5. 15 minutes still on the clock, definitely enough time even for you know, a win here from the Allies if they got on a roll. And they're not being contested at all as usual at Red Roof House. They've just literally got machine gunners camped up in there, and yes, smokes super important, and they are using the artillery now to drop smokes. I'm surprised they can actually get them that deep into the garden with the artillery, but this is something that probably should have happened a good while ago. And even if it's happening now or happening around this time, like, that should be coordinated with an infantry push. Right now, it's just kind of smokes for smoke's sake. Okay, yeah, sure, it's going to make it slightly hard to approach, or see out of, to fight off an approach, but there's nobody even close to back those smokes up, and they're not cheap. As you can see from the supplies at the top of the map there, though, plenty of munitions still, so I guess not too worried about using a few smokes, dropping some more artillery. Getting close to the end of the game, may as well make the most of it. Here a plane going over, that could have been for this supply drop. A bit weird that they're dropping supplies right next to the garrison they already have, but perhaps they're going to build a gun or something like that. But probably one thing I could say is that I haven't really seen that much use of support players in this game so far, and it's kind of meant that a lot of these supplies from the commander are being dropped in spots where, you know, like less speculative spots, more just dropping it on squad leaders and things. Like, it's good, don't get me wrong, I said earlier, like, if you're dropping supplies, you want to drop them on a squad leader, because you want them protected when they fall to the ground, but equally, that squad leader ideally wants to be like a recon squad leader, and they ideally want to be in the red, and, you know, not somebody that can just technically get their own guy to drop enough supplies. You know, like right here it's in the blue, one support guy could drop 50 supplies and build a garrison there, instead of wasting 100 and a bunch of time and having the guy looking up at the sky the whole while and probably getting shot in the side because he's waiting for the things to fall on him, and etc, etc, etc. So better use of support players, it can be a decisive factor when it comes to these games. Got a decent number of people actually out here on this flank now, the Axis. I don't know if it's like, it's not too late kind of thing, but like they're leaving it pretty late if they're still going for the win, but they might just be trying to keep the pressure up to help the defenders, and kind of just go for the 4-1. But I would hope and expect them to still be pushing for the 5-0. You know, it's not, I don't want to say it's close exactly, because they really haven't. They've had one little sort of soft cap on Red Roof House, or maybe one right at the start as well, when they first took 1-5. But, you know, they haven't really done a great job of kind of attacking it, and I do understand why. As mentioned, you know, it's not got the best approaches, etc. But equally, some opportunities just haven't managed to capitalise on them. That was a cool view there of the plane. Kind of fun doing the strafing run there. Okay, so WM5 is, I think, pretty secure for the time being. The recon plane being used to good effect again here to identify light vehicle of some kind. Looks like a support truck over there maybe. and some of those enemy players along the dunes. Dropping supplies again, literally on top of the garrison. Not quite sure why. Maybe they are building some sort of defensive structure around the gun or something. I'm not sure, because there is a gun down there somewhere, an AT gun. Oh, these guys are on it. Volcano and Crossbow are sitting on it. Let's just catch up with them really quick. Basically in their face. Nice cheeky little bit of cover maybe. Has done it, shot there? No. Someone's just randomly shooting it. Bigger stickers. Let's go and catch up with him. He's probably got some good... Got tank support there as well. This is not a bad spot for a machine gun, is it? He knows they're over there, just suppressing them. Bubble Bear goes down to the left of our screen. That's the squad leader for the Allies. Abaddon, the despoiler over here, looking to get up, but manages to get himself shot. Biggest Dick is not feeling it, not killing enough. Wants to get closer, get a few more kills before the end of the game. 10 minutes to go. He's playing a bit of a dangerous one here. Imox might come over this hill and shoot him any second. We don't know. He does have tank support, so he is using that coaxial cover to his advantage. Smoke nades coming in here from Imox. He's going very deep here. He's going to get shot by his own tank. I'm going to get his pistol out and take them out. Not sure. Imox goes down. Mr. Bombata doesn't know he's here. Going to get shot. Yep. Strong position here from Bigger Stickers. Going to get this nice little spot out over the beach. Could get shot in the face by Kato before he gets right into position though. But playing it quite safe, using the edge of the building here. Kato obviously knows he's here, but too late, gets absolutely destroyed. And he's got good shots over the beach here. Let's go catch up with somebody else. Okay, so Win 5 still defended well, as is the Red Roof House, but that bombing run is powerful, takes out a lot of the players actually in and around the back garden, possibly even in the house there, so that was a great bombing run, and coordinated with a good push this time, and some smokes, and they've got supplies coming down. Very interesting supply drop. I'm not quite sure, it's incredibly ambitious. I mean, as we've said before, you know, you've got to be within 100 meters if it's in the red, but it's just in the blue, and so Greaves might be able to get this garrison up again here, and then they've got 40 seconds until a big spawn wave. Vistic out here, the only allied player who stands a chance of contesting this garrison. He is getting shots out, but gets taken out. Greaves with the smokes now. Regular nades. Going to shoot Soviet. Repositioning. Jesus Christ. Entering the building, and this is by far the best attack that the Axis have had. This is putting them in a very nice little position. Smoke shells coming in to support their push as well off of this garrison. They've just had the spawn wave. Still defending Win 5 pretty well, and almost 3-1 inside the point here, coordinating this good push. You can see how powerful the smoke shells are that we talked about earlier. I hear the bombing run going out for the allies over here, but how effective will it be? Julian Mandy, Sir Lucky, they're still up. Somerville, the only person in contention. Okay, there's a lot of allies pushing the beach here, but will it be enough considering what a good thing they've got going on over here, the Axis? However, we've talked about it before. WM5 is right here in H. Okay, it's very nice and close to the Allied lines, so it's kind of easy for them to get. Same thing for Red Roof House. But equally, any allies who are in this whole area, just like any Axis who are in this whole area, are providing capping power. Less so for the allies, because unfortunately for them, half of their sector is C. But still, all they need to be is spawned in, basically. But they are capping it now, the Axis. They've lost the house somehow. I don't really understand. Maybe that's how. They just got in, placed a satchel, got out again, and let them come at them. But MPITT leading from the front here, going for the decisive victory for the 5-0. Tourist, the only ally. He's lying down, basically hiding. Gets a couple kills. Not bad from him. Gets taken out, though. Gets rushed by players. Supplies coming down for the allies. Probably more sensible for them to be dropping supplies than the Axis inside the point, but the airhead is also down here for the Axis. It's all over here, 100%. 5 minutes to go. There's no way the allies can get enough people back. You can see they're all starting to run back now, this phalanx squad. They've realised it's all gone wrong over at Red Roof House, but as we've seen, it's not that difficult to defend Red Roof House, at least from predictable attacks. And they're basically all dead there, the phalanx squad, just literally running up to the road, getting mowed down, and yeah, every single player there is gone now. Still got this garrison over here, but they're basically going to be pinned on it. They've got people out here with Weltmeister and Canosi out here. Weltmeister takes down the tank in the spawn, so that's not going to be a help to the allies. They haven't got any cap going on here at Win 5, although they are still pushing with some of their forces, but it's all going to be over here. Axis 5-0, 100% at this point. Thanks again to all the players. GG to both teams. That was really hard fought at the end, but excellent work there from the Axis to secure the victory in the end. Thanks to Werner Voss and Dragster and everyone at Squad Line Battle for putting on another sick one. GG, everyone. Let's have a quick look at some of these scores. Fantastic score here from Lucky Squad, 82 AD guys, really putting in some work. Who else have we got? We shouted out the PBS squad earlier, Rhine Out squad. They really did a great job of defending earlier, so big up to them. PHX, Jesus Christ, and his squad. Nispel absolutely smashing the tanks here, it looks like. And some good tank squads on both teams, actually, but especially on the Axis. You know, they don't have a natural advantage in terms of the 76 is a much more powerful tank. Better armor than the Tiger, reloads faster, but they managed to use their positioning, use infantry support, use multiple tanks in conjunction with each other to do that support. You know, they've had great support from a lot of these anti-tank players as well, as mentioned before. They just backed off and let the satchels do the job. On the other team, we've got War Squad, who we saw played pretty well. Abaddon and these guys, I don't know how you say this name here, but these lot were attacking quite a lot throughout. Vistic and Predus doing a pretty good job of trying to get both garrisons down and garrisons up. Bubblebeard with lots and lots of kills. There was a squad leader. Shout out to, of course, Scars again. That is a pretty great score here from Baker Tank Squad. Like I say, tanks on both sides doing a great job. Amidian here, and I forget who else was the other tank squad. But yeah, great job from both teams there. Hopefully going to talk to some of the commanders now. We'll see who's available. It looks like MPITT might be free, so we'll give him a little call now. Just double check. I don't want to disturb him if he is not free. Yes, he is. Okay, brilliant. Hey, MPITT, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me? I've got a problem with my thing. Hold on. Input device. Hello?
Oh,
Hey,
you
can
hear me?
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know what happened there with my mic, but congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job there. We caught up with the command chat. You seemed very calm and collected throughout. Did it go to plan? Is that how you intended it?
Yes, we cap the middle point. Is the more important goal on the start of the map.
Yep.
We are lucky at the start because Debian 7 are the better point on the beginning for Axis.
Yep.
Because Chapel is too close to the enemy,
Yeah.
and even WM4 is more close to the enemy side of the map.
Mhm.
So we are lucky.
And then happy with, you managed to obviously take it quite early. You managed to get the troop transport truck right through the barbed wire, get your guys off the truck into the house, secure those key areas around there. And then obviously able to kind of capitalize once you had taken it and push up and take the next point. Struggled a little bit, it seemed like, on the final point though, maybe. What was the kind of thinking about attacking Red Roof House? Obviously you won in the end and got the 5-0, ground out the 5-0 in the end, but was there a bit of a struggle there at a point?
Okay, on the start, I plan to use two transport truck, and we have played very well because we have taken the house on WM7. Then we have placed a good pattern of garrison.
Yeah.
For garrison well placed, but the enemy recon play very good because we lost 3 in a short time. But I don't know where the enemy are sit when they start cap the enemy point. I see that, or I think Kilo Squad start moving from the border of the map, the south border of the map, without find enemy resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And another squad flank from hill destroy the enemy garrison there.
Yeah.
And push to the trench. And I've seen not a lot of enemy on there. Then I send an airad, and I think we have taken a little more time than what I expected for the point where when I send the air. Then the enemy play very well, try always to flank and take the point from rear.
Yeah.
And we have find hard to take the pitch in front of WM5. And this is delay or push on the red roof. And we find hard bring up a garrison north of the point, because their steward, I think, destroy a lot of time our garrison there.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end, we
managed to clinch it in the end and get that coordinated push. I mean, there was a point at which almost towards the end, maybe like 20 minutes to go, you kind of had a similar idea. It looked like you managed to drop the smokes onto the Red Roof House. You kind of had a garrison up right on the edge. You had your recon squad build a garrison, but the push wasn't kind of there coordinated, but it all managed to come together at the end with the infantry push and that garrison and the airhead and all the smokes and everything. Managed to get the satchel out on the building at the end as well, and really clear out the point, and that was really successful. There was obviously a moment, kind of, I don't know, half an hour before the end when, like you mentioned, the Allies managed to get right round the back of WM5. Were you kind of concerned at that point? Did you, from my perspective, from up in the air, half their team was out behind you. Did it feel like you were sort of at any point in danger of losing WM5?
I think there is 2 times we have risk to lose that point, but not from the rear. Is always from the front. They push with a lot of men and maybe some tank, destroy our garrison that was close to the house in front of WM5, close to the beach, and go inside the strong point. One time I have to set up reinforce and go myself inside the strong point. But I have especially Mike squad, I think that was from Dundee, that play very well. What? that play very well, and we hunt and destroy all the garrison they build behind us, and even the ARED, they send maybe 2 or 3 ARED. They are destroyed as soon they touch the land.
Yeah, it was excellent. Sorry, I'm having a bit of a trouble here with the Discord sound for some reason, but it was really well played by the team there.
Are you?
Have you got any shout outs in particular to any squads that you're really proud of and did a great job today? Can you hear me, MPITT? Oh, I'm not sure if he can hear me now. Hold on. Hello, can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm having a problem with the Discord mic for some reason, but I was just saying before we kind of finish up, are there any squads who today you thought played really, really well and you want to kind of call out and say, good job?
Everyone have done a great job, and I think all the people hear what I say. They talk each other and coordinate their movement. But I think when someone win, the defense defense is the better thing. That if you play well on defense, you can win quite always. So Fox and Abel that stay in defense for all the match. Abel was from 82 and Fox was from us, from Italian. They play very well, and even Mike that prevent enemy from build any garrison behind. Have done a great job. But everyone play well.
Yeah, brilliant. And just again, before we kind of finish up, obviously kind of mentioned like, Hell Let Loose Italia and whatever, we've seen you guys a lot on Squad Line Battle. This is, as far as I know, your first time commanding, but can we expect you
really my third time.
First time that I've seen you, but great job. But so we can expect you back as commander again, I'm guessing, if this is your third time and it's a win.
Yes, I'm done commander because we are always lack of commander. They call every time on the last day that we don't have a commander, and this time one of our guys that lot of time can play on this type of competition is free, and I give him my place as squad leader, so I'm free to play commander. But is when the people communicate each other is really I'm glad to play commander because it's easy and you can do what you need for prevent build garrison, prevent the enemy flank, the enemy ARED, and you play. It's easy place commander like that. But once time that I play commander, the command chat was silent and one talk, and
That just makes
it's not impossible, but it's not a fault of a squad leader. Probably when you're losing, is harder to communicate. I think is a problem of mind. When you lose, you find hard to communicate with the other people in another language, and the communication don't work, and the game go frost, and but when you are winning, is all more easy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, thanks for taking the time to speak to us, and well done again on your victory. Congrats to your team. We're going to hopefully speak to Bullseye now, but thanks a lot.
Yes, thank you.
Take care.
Even the other team play very well. So congratulations to them too.
Yeah, that's great. Really nice to see the fair play there. So thanks for talking to us, and catch you soon, hopefully.
Of course, I don't know next week, but surely.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks a lot. See you soon.
Okay. Yes. Bye.
Okay, not sure what's going on there with the sound. It's my Discord messing up. Let me just try and sort this out. But hopefully you managed to hear most of that with me like mashing the button. Let me just double check that I'm getting this right. Hello? Maybe that one? Let's try this. We'll try and talk to Bullseye. Give him a call now and see if there's still a problem with the sound. Hold on. Hope it works. I think it should work if he picks up the phone. He's probably gone to get a drink or something. Probably done a lot of talking. I know how he feels. Heard me choking earlier on the mic. Okay, so Bullseye's not picking up at the moment. He might be around soon, but we'll just have a quick summary of the game then. For anyone who was just listening to the chat there with MPITT. He was saying WN7 is the easier point for the Axis at the beginning of the game because the other ones are so close to the Allied lines. He also praised, as we kind of noticed, the PBS squad and the other squads in defence doing a really great job. Praised them and rightly so, I think, because like he identified, defending, if you can do that well in this game, you know, it opens up all that time and space for you to be able to launch those attacks, even if they fail several times. It doesn't matter if you've got the defence locked down, then you're absorbing lots of pressure here, which is taken, you know, at WN5, they're absorbing a lot of those allies who were then not able to be defending at Red Roof. Although, of course, again, the allies did a great job themselves of defending at Red Roof. Less so at WN5, of course, as we saw, but it is harder for them to defend probably. It's quite open from their angle. They don't have that benefit of, you know, lots of space in the back of the sector there that the Axis have. So it is harder for them. But a great job at Red Roof House, and we'll try and have another go at contacting Bullseye, but if we can't get through, then we'll have to call it a game for today. But let's try again. Hi, Bullseye. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sorry. I was. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, thanks for joining us. Commiserations on the loss. I mean, you fought really, really hard at the end, especially there at Red Roof House. But it kind of, is it fair to say that it didn't go quite to plan right from the start? How do you feel about?
Yeah, that's easy because I think no one plans to. Yeah, it was. They did better. They did good. They drop an airhead. We cannot get there, but they built through there, and then I think the points were favored to them. But yeah, we did what we could.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I mean, it's a lot harder for you. I was just literally saying actually that it's a lot harder for you at WM5 because they have all that space in G7 and G8 where they can just have people in the sector, whereas you guys, you're kind of trapped on the sand dunes, and that's not even in the relevant sector. You're still in the Uncle Red sector at that point, and you really, you know, it's really hard to get pushed up. And the same at WN7, really. Like you've got that approach through the trench, but it's hard. Like they get there first, and you know they've got probably slightly better approaches to it to a certain degree.
Yeah, it was because it's like you said, we were in the sand. We cannot get there. We were outside the cap point, and there behind it was all open. And even if I drop an airhead or try to put attacking garrison or something, it's straight on them. So It was
Yes.
hard.
It's easy for them to see, isn't it, if it's behind them like that? And I suppose, you know, you guys did a really great job at one point with about half an hour to go of getting right round the back of WM5, and you had that flank. You managed to get a supply truck there, get a garrison built, and get some OPs up and stuff. And I thought at that point that they might be in real trouble. It didn't quite go to plan, though. I mean, what happened?
I don't know. It was like I said. We tried, like we were trying to cap the point, but the main thing is they kept us well outside the camp. Uh, we start cap, but we didn't have enough manpower to do it. So our guys were behind.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying.
Next time it's better.
Yeah, and but you did a great job. The whole team did a great job of defending at Red Roof House. I mean, what was your kind of strategy when it came to defending?
I don't know if we were holding or it was they were encircling us. But yeah, it's the same strategy. We drop garrisons north, south, and try to hold. But I think they could push us best and sooner. They made us last.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think maybe they missed some opportunities early on. Like when you were doing that big flank, they probably could have come in from the north a bit more quickly and had a bit of a better attack on Red Roof. But that's to not take anything away from your guys defending. I mean, you had, I think, 3 machine gunners in the top of Red Roof House at one point, and they were literally just shooting everybody that came near. So, have you got any kind of squads in particular that you want to give a shout out to who you think played really well today?
Nah, everyone did okay. It's even the guys that were less experienced and stuff, they did great. It was them that they hold the point. The guys that were attacking, and well, if I have to say something, I would say to the tank squads, they did good. Even the recon man, I think, despite the result, we did good.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you got a bit unlucky, like you said, with the points and stuff. But you know, it came down to the last 5 minutes at the end, didn't it? Really. So you can't sort of have a better fight than that. It was very very quick last week. The game was over in about half an hour, but today it was a real battle the whole way. So obviously, well played to you guys. How about you know, we kind of mentioned before about Don D a little bit, and just kind of about you as like commander. Is this your first time playing on Squad Line Battle as commander, or have you played before?
Now I play squad battle like since the beginning. When we have like one server and struggle to get 50 guys on each side. Now I play a lot of time commander here. I like it. I'm still coming back. I think it's a great format, and well, uh, the D&D. We are starting. We have a good plan, a good players. Easy baby steps, making our effort and making our games,
Yeah,
giving some experience to our new guys in this squad line battle and format.
I think it's a great format, like you say, for that for people who are kind of coming transitioning. I think between like public and competitive, it's like a really good way of them like getting some practice playing basically against people who know what they're doing, right?
Yeah, that's the main. I think that was the beginning of the squad line battle, was to give some new guys that sometimes don't have like opportunity to play more competitive. They give him another kind of game experience.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, you know, like you say, Squad Line Battle doing really well now. We're on 2 servers, both with 100 players on each, so excellent. And you know, big thanks, of course, from me, and I'm guessing you too, to the organisers.
Yeah,
And
of course.
and I should pass on as well. I just spoke to MPITT before, and you know, he passed on his you know, compliments to you guys.
Yeah,
You know, played well and gave them good opposition kind of thing. And I think, you know, the spirit of fair play and of all that is like really good on Squad Line Battle. And, you know, from me as well, GG's to you and to the allies.
yeah.
Good job.
GG. Have fun, man. Keep streaming, keep filming, keep showing, and transmitting to the world.
Yeah, man. Thank you. And thanks for coming on.
Bye. Have fun.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, great stuff. I'm not sure what was going on exactly with the sound there, but hopefully it was enough for you guys to be able to kind of get the gist of that. I was getting some like crazy feedback in the mic or something, as you can tell. But we'll get that sorted out before next time. As a new one, you know, often there's some of these weird technical problems that just crop up out of nowhere. But GG's, like I say, to both commanders, to both teams. Really good one today. Really like sweated it out. Some really great tank plays, some fantastic artillery at the end there with the smoke shells. Great infantry play. We saw lots of heavy tanks get taken out by satchels. We saw satchels on buildings. We saw engineers and whatever, like building structures. We saw the anti-tank guns being used to good effect, like at the beginning, especially at WN7 down the road. That was really good to see. So like the real whole Hell Let Loose experience today. So that was really great. Can't say again enough thanks to the organisers and thanks to everyone that played. Just as usual, if you like, brief description at the end here, if you want to come and play next time, if you haven't played before, please just come and apply. The registration will be open tomorrow. Just join the server. You can just apply. You have to apply as a squad, but yeah, you can come along with your friends. You play anything you like, tank, artillery, even commander, as you heard. Like oftentimes they're looking for commanders until right at the last minute. So jump on. Funksec, he won 2 in a row, like last week and the week before. Before that, he'd never played commander in a squad line battle ever before. So you know, come along, see how you find it. I've just seen on the chat, Jesus Christ, talk about on Allied. I'm guessing he's asking about the stream from the Allies perspective. Don't have it this week, but it will be back next week, or at least even if it isn't back in full, it'll be me doing both, and I'll have access to both maps, which is kind of a bit of a last minute thing today, of just having the one. But hopefully we managed to get quite a lot of the game captured for you. You can watch the VOD, like I said earlier, for 2 weeks. After that, it's going to be recorded forever on YouTube, so you know you can come back, learn stuff from it. Make sure you take the clips and everything of your plays if you've made good plays. If I miss stuff or if there's feedback from me, please let me know. Thanks as always to everybody who's followed today, and again to the organisers of Squad Line Battle. GG to both teams, and I'll catch you next week. That's all from me. See you soon, guys.